Hey, what's going on, guys? Vince Reed here, and welcome to this week's video. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my Income Maximizer Formula 2.0. This is the second version of the Income Maximizer Formula. It's something that I created several years ago because I wanted to create something that could actually put you on a path to building a seven-figure business in 3 years or less. Now, this is an actual quiz that I've given to a lot of my students at my live events. It's something that has always proven to be literally, 97% to 100% accurate in terms of determining where you are in terms of your income level and what you actually need to do to build a profitable seven-figure business. All right, now, I've been very blessed. I've been able to leverage the power of the internet to build a lot of successful companies. I've written books, Internet Traffic and Leads. We've been able to, earn 2 Comma Club awards, and basically this is an award given out to businesses that generate 7 figures or more. And for me, as a person that really wanted to be successful, I always wanted to have something tangible, something that I could do and follow that would give me clear directions on how I could be successful in any business that I choose. Kind of like if you were to go, buy something at the store, you'd get an instruction manual. And that instruction manual would basically tell you exactly how to put together whatever it was that you purchased. And for whatever reason, when it came to being an entrepreneur, there was never really a guide that I could follow. There were principles, there was a lot of great information out there, but I seemed to always feel like I had to put all of the pieces together. Now, the Income Maximizer Formula 2.0, is the second version of this formula. Now, I will tell you, I'm not going to give you all the key ingredients of the formula today because actually inside of my book, Internet Traffic and Leads, you can actually take the formula, you can take the quiz yourself and actually see what you score. And again, it will tell you with 100% accuracy, how much you're earning and what you need to do to get to 7 figures. What I'm gonna do right now is give you the 5 basic principles, and I'm gonna share with you what I believe is the 2.0 version, which is an extra element that you have to focus on if you wanna build a profitable business. All right, now when I got started online, one of the first books that I read was Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And in that book, he has something that basically is a formula, a process to follow to be extremely successful. He calls it the cash flow quadrant. And most of you have probably already seen it before. So you basically start off, your life as an employee, right? You start off on the left side of the quadrant, right? And then on the other side, you get to be self-employed. And that's where, you basically are working for yourself, right? And this is where most people pretty much, live their lives. And what Robert Kiyosaki talks about is trying to get to the right side of the quadrant. And on the right side of the quadrant, you have the business owner and you have the investor. All right, so you're constantly trying to get over to the right side. Now, he describes a business owner as an entity or enterprise of 500 or more employees, right? And then when you start making money, you have to invest that money, where most people are working for someone else, and then they believe that they're a business owner, but they're really self-employed, and they're working themselves into the ground, and they're not actually putting themselves in a situation where they can have freedom and allow the business to actually work for them. Now, this was a great start, but it was, for me, extremely broad. It started my entrepreneur journey to really say, how can I get to this side? But it didn't tell me exactly what I needed to do. And that's why I wanted to put together this Income Maximizer formula, because after I started getting results and building 7-figure businesses, and it took me 3 years to actually do that, I said, what was it that I actually did that allowed me to actually build profitable businesses? And that's what I'm going to be sharing with you in this particular video. All right, so the Income Maximizer formula, it has 5 key points. All right, so there's 5 key points to the Income Maximizer formula. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you what the 5 points are, and then we're going to break each and every one of those down. So, if you're watching this, I encourage you to pause it right now. Get a piece of paper and a notepad handy. Write these down, especially if you want to be successful. One of the things, and this really doesn't have anything to do with the formula itself, but one of the things that I found in terms of a key trait of successful entrepreneurs is they have a different level of stamina when it comes to being an entrepreneur. So, for example, some people may be at their wit's end already at this video. They're like, man, I got to watch this entire video to learn how to build a 7-figure business in 3 years or less. Absolutely, if you want to be successful, right? If it were easy, everyone would do it. So you have to work on your stamina level. Just like if you were going to work out, you wouldn't just go, run 10 miles the first time you worked out. You would start off with a mile, then you'd run, 2 miles, and so forth. So I challenge you to take notes, take this seriously, and do your best to incorporate these principles into your life and your business. All right, so I have a couple notes down here. Number 1, the first thing that is basically the first component of the Income Maximizer formula is influence and network. All right, we're gonna break each and every one of these down, but your influence and your network will determine your ability to basically build a business. Okay, the second step is basically your skill level. Okay, do you have a specific skill? Again, we're gonna break down each and every one of these. I just want you to know what these 5 components are. Okay, number 3 is consistency. Okay, how consistent are you with what it is that you're doing? Okay, number 4 is your list size. Okay, are you building a list? Are you getting leads? Okay, we're gonna talk about that. Okay, and last but not least, these are the last 2 are things that you can actually control. Ad spend. Okay, are you actually putting your message out there? Are you investing in marketing and advertising? All right, so these are the 5 components to the income maximizer formula. And again, if you get my book, okay, Internet Traffic and Leads, actually on page 81, you can actually take the quiz. I'm not gonna go through the point system or anything like that in this video. I'm just gonna tell you what they are. Then we're gonna get into the 2.0 version, the added piece, which actually isn't in this book. Okay, I'm gonna tell you about that because I think that it's a key factor, okay, that has to be incorporated. And everything evolves, everything's always changing, and I wanna make sure you guys know about it. All right, so here are the 5 points. Number 1, influence and network. All right, so, it's one of those things where people always say, you've heard this before, people buy things from people they know, like, and trust, right? So when you build your influence and your network up, okay, it basically is allowing you to have more people who know, like, and trust you. All right, but it's a deeper level to this. So I wanted to give you a couple of points that you can basically be aware of, that you can focus on building, which will allow you to get to that goal of building your 7-figure business in 3 years or less. All right, so for example, how do you grade your influence and network? Like if you had to give yourself a grade on a scale of 1 to 10, okay, what would you grade yourself as? Well, here's a way to actually determine where you should. If you gave yourself a 10 right off the bat, I got a question for you. Okay, are you often invited to speak at events and share what it is that you do? Okay, do you have a huge Rolodex? Could I call you up right now and you basically direct me to the CEO of a specific company or someone that could help me actually solve a problem? Okay, have you earned 7 figures before in the past? All right, have you actually built a business that's made $1 million in a calendar year? Okay, can you pack a room, okay, or a webinar with 200 plus people? All right, so if you were to go do a presentation or if you were to go have a live event, could you put 200 people in a room? This is a good way to grade where your influence and network is at this current state. All right, now some of you may say, well, I got 200,000 followers on Instagram. That's great, okay, but are they actually buying your products and services, right? Are you actually out there sharing how you did that, how you got 200,000 followers on social media? Okay, can you direct me to other people who can actually help me with the push of a button? Do people know you for that? All right, so my challenge to you, and again, like I said, go through the quiz, figure out what you need to do to get your score, because it will actually tell you where you rank based on a scale of 1 to 10 in this particular category. But I just want you to know what the points are. All right, so think about that as you start to figure out what your personal influence and network is. So for example, I speak at events all over the world. Okay, pretty much, in my phone, I'm pretty much connected to a lot of people out there. So if you need marketing, coaching, training, okay, I can get you in touch with that person. Okay, we've made millions of dollars on the internet. Okay, we've been able to host and have live events. If I want to do a webinar today, we could put not just 100, but 1,000 people on a webinar like that. All right, so these are things that have you really looked at to see where you rank when it comes to influence and network. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the next one. All right, the next one is skill level, as we talked about before. All right, so this is very crucial for you to think about. A lot of people just want to make money, okay? And I always tell people your level of the expectations must match your expertise, right? So if you want to make $1 million, do you have $1 million worth of value to offer? All right, so do you expect to make millions of dollars, but you really don't have the expertise to actually earn that? And your skill level actually dictates that. So for example, have you invested $10,000 or more into your education? Have you hired mentors, coaches? Have you attended high-level masterminds or events? Have you gone and actually sat down and spoke to other CEOs who run companies similar to yours that can actually help you get to where it is that you want to go? Okay, this is how you can actually determine where your skill level is. All right, you can't reach the top in terms of skill level until you've done that. Okay, are you investing $10,000 in your education? Now, some people may say, wow, $10,000. Well, ask yourself, what do you invest to go to a 4-year college or even, some junior colleges out there? Okay, to get through, it's going to be a lot more than $10,000. But when it comes to your craft, are you actually investing in yourself? Okay, it's funny, the game of being an entrepreneur, it's so different. People expect to build these billion-dollar, million-dollar companies, right? And they don't spend a single dime on education. They go, I don't want to invest in that. I can figure it out myself. It's really an odd thing that I've seen with a lot of people. Okay, do you have a specialized skill set? Okay, is there something that if I just saw what you do in your business, I would say that person is the best in the world at that? Okay, so for me, okay, as you can see, I've written a book, Internet Traffic and Leads. Okay, I have a podcast called Internet Traffic Jam. We basically have a company called Internet Traffic Factory. I own a digital agency called Set Up My Ads. I've been very clear with what it is that we do or what I do as a skill set. All right, so I'm very good at getting people to get their products and services out there into the world and to build an email list and basically to build their following. That's what I specialize in. So what's your specialized skill? Mine is marketing, lead generation, social media, advertising. What is yours? All right, so as you can see here, 10 or more success stories. This is key. So a lot of people say they've got a skill set, but do you have testimonials of people basically saying your product is amazing? Okay, are there people that you can reach out to that says, hey, you need to go listen to that guy, he knows what it is that he's talking about X, Y, or Z? Okay, these are points that you can now actually quantify where you are with your skill level, and also now you know what to do when it comes to influence and network. All right, and again, tangible things that you can actually measure. Okay, and that's why I wanted to share this with you. All right, so let's move on to the next one. The next one is consistency. Okay, you can be extremely successful by simply being more consistent than your competitors. Unfortunately, we live in a day and age where the average person, okay, they're going to do something for 90 days at most, and that is if they're really consistent and they're going to quit. Most people are going to do it for a week or so, and then they're going to say, oh, that didn't work. Okay, if you can put your head down and do something for, a year, okay, and literally focus in on that, okay, you will absolutely destroy your competitors and you will be extremely profitable. I'm not sure which entrepreneur said this. I'm going blank, but they said you'd be shocked at what you could accomplish in a year if you really focused in on it. All right, you can make a lot of amazing things happen. All right, so consistency. Are you doing webinars or having company events on a regular basis? Okay, are you putting out something where your industry knows that this is what you do and it's consistent? It's almost to the point where if you didn't do it, somebody would reach out to you and say, hey, what's going on? How come I don't see that video or that webinar or that event happening this year or this month? Okay, are you producing consistent value-based content to your specific niche market? Now, I know a lot of people, for example, people that are selling, let's say, e-com products. They may say, well, what kind of content can I create? I'm selling a hat on Amazon. There's all types of things that you can basically create in terms of content. Okay, teaching people how you got to the point of actually doing that. You should be creating consistent value-based content on a regular basis so people get to know who you are and people get to have a clear-cut idea that you are an expert in your specific field and that it's consistent, that they see it each and every time, because sometimes people will believe you and they will like what it is that you have to say, but they're like, you know what, let me just see what this person is doing. Let me see if they're for real. Let's see if they put content up next week or the week after that. Let me come back in 6 months and see if they're still relevant. All right, so consistency is huge. Okay, are you doing consistent newsletters and emailing your audience and staying in front of them with valuable, up-to-date, current content? Okay, are you doing live broadcasts? Are you going live? Are you being consistent with anything? Okay, and be honest with yourself. Be your worst critic. Okay, this to me, I think that if I had to say which one am I the best at, is this, consistency. I truly believe that you can just out-consistent your competitors and you can you can have a very profitable business. All right, so let's move on to number 4, list size. All right, list size is your ability to build a list, your distribution channel. All right, your distribution channel is your ability to push a button and get your message out there to the world. All right, so I believe that you should be building an opt-in subscriber list. And that is basically individuals who provide you with their email address, their name and email address. Now, some people will argue me down and they'll say, Vince, email is dead, right? People aren't opening up my email. And the reason I believe in email so much is not necessarily just because, you're building your email list. I believe it's the first micro transaction that your customer can give you. It's their ability to say, hey, I know, and I trust you enough to give you my email address. So for example, if you were walking down the street, okay, and you were, let's say it was the middle of the night and there was a stranger walking up towards you and he walked up to you and he asked you for your email address, would you give it to him? Okay, probably not, because you don't know who that person is. Okay, you're not going to give them your email address. But when a customer gives you their email address, they're saying that they trust you. Okay, they're giving you something that's valuable to them. That's a window into their life. That's a way for you to connect with them. All right, so even if they never open it up, even if they don't really pay attention to what you're sending, they did that first micro transaction. And that's why I believe list size is extremely important. Now, this can kind of branch out to social media following and whatnot, but I don't believe there's anything as powerful as a person giving you their name and email address. So as you can see, this is basically, it is what it is. You would pick one of these. Right? These are the cool thing about 4 and 5. These are things that you can actually control. So do you have an email list? It's 25,000 people or more. Okay, and I'll just kind of tell you. Okay, if you are here, you're at the top score when it comes to 4 and 5. Okay, the other ones that has to do with how long you've been in business and things like that, which you'll find in the book. But it is what it is. So do you have a 25,000 or more email list? Okay, are you between 5,000 and 25,000? Okay, or are you between 1 and 5,000? Okay, this is something that you can work on each and every day, building that distribution channel, building your email list, and that's why list size is very important. Okay, it's your way to put your message in front of people instantly, and you control that. If Facebook goes out of business tomorrow, if Instagram closes down, if Snapchat stops working, you can still push a button and keep your information in front of people. Which leads me to number 5, advertising spend. Okay, one of the reasons you see a lot of successful brands, especially the brands you know today, the Apples, the Nikes, these companies, you know why you know who they are? Because I'm sure you've seen a lot of just do it commercials. Okay, that costs money. They were willing to invest in their marketing and in their brand to get it to the point where when you just see the logo, you know exactly what they do and exactly what kind of service they provide. Okay, so when it comes to advertising spend, we get a lot of people that don't want to invest in their business. And the successful companies, they invest in their business. Why? Because what they offer, they believe in it. Okay, it's their moral obligation to get it out there to the world. All right, so are you spending $10,000 or more on advertising? Again, this is another one. It is what it is. If you want the highest score in this particular category, you need to be investing a minimum of $10,000 a month in advertising. That may freak some people out, but if you want mass distribution and you want your business out there and you want to build profitable 7-figure businesses, this is what you're working towards. Okay, you want to work on how can you put $10,000 into your business and get $2 out, right, for every dollar. So you put $10,000 in, you get $20,000 back. Okay, that's the mindset. The good marketers realize that, it's not about what's their advertising budget. Great marketers try to figure out how they can actually invest more. I want you to think about that. So if I were to go teach you marketing and the first thing comes into your mind and says, well, my advertising budget is $500 this month, that's the wrong way to look at it. Because what if you were putting $500 into this machine, your marketing, and it was shooting back out $1,000? Would your budget that month only be $500? No, you'd keep investing more. So good marketing, you're always trying to figure out ways to invest more. So here you can see you're spending anywhere between $2,500 to $10,000, and obviously the lowest level would be $1, $2,500. You want to be working your way up, all right? So that's the 5 components of the income maximizer formula. But I want to move into what makes this 2.0. Okay, what makes it 2.0? All right, so we talked about influence and network. We talked about skill level, consistency, list size, and ad spend. All right, but there's something that makes it 2.0. And this is the new version of the income maximizer formula. I'm actually going to write this in red because it's that important. And it's this. It's focus. All right, and not only is it focus, it's focus on one thing. All right, it's focus on one thing. So if you were building all these things and you were working towards these goals, and all of this content, all of this knowledge, all of this information was focused on one thing, okay, for the next 12 months, the next 3 years, the next 10 years, imagine what would happen. You see, a lot of people go wrong because they do this, but their focus is all over the place. They're selling e-com, they're doing network marketing, they're creating digital courses, they're coaching, they're all over the place. Okay, what if you had one main focus and you pushed all that energy into that? Now, that doesn't mean you can't offer other things later on, but just imagine what would happen if you were able to focus in on one thing. Okay, do you think big successful companies like Amazon, they're focused on anything but, their growth? In fact, I'll tell you what they're focused on. Their number one focus, okay, because I've actually read a lot of the reports that they put out, is their customer. So for example, Amazon, their one thing they're focused on is their customer. Okay, it's not, the books they sell or whatever else they're selling on the site, it's their customer. What is the one thing that you are focused on as an entrepreneur? You want to drive all that traffic right towards that information. All right, so what I've just shared with you are the basic principles of the income maximizer formula 2.0. All All right, these are the things that you need to be focusing on. If you do that and you focus in on that, okay, you will build a profitable business. I promise you, in 3 years or less, you will be on your way to building a profitable 7-figure business. All right, now a lot of people often come to me and they go, Vince, what are you focused on? Now that we have these principles, what do you suggest that we do? Okay, what do you think we should do? Now for me, I've seen it all. As I said earlier, I've tried every type of business out there. Now, if I was getting started, there are some things that I would actually do, okay, as an entrepreneur that I feel give me the best chance to not only want to make an impact, make a difference, and obviously make a lot of money. All right. Now, if you look at the description of this video, okay, click on a link. I actually put together a webinar, okay, and it will show you guys what I believe is the #1 way to actually build a profitable business and make a lot of money. All right, so you can register for that webinar. Okay, I'm sure the link will be somewhere on this video as well. Check it out, and that's for those of you who are entrepreneurs and you actually want to build a profitable business and you want to know what I do, what I focus on, what is the one thing that I focus on when it comes to actually making money and obviously building a massive business on the internet. All right, so I hope you got a ton of value. You now know the basic principles of the income maximizer formula. You know what makes it 2.0. Okay, you have a roadmap to follow. Now it comes down to you and your work ethic, right? How are you going to build those muscles and that stamina as an entrepreneur to watch videos like this on a consistent basis and to go ahead and execute on the actual actions that it takes to be successful? All right, with that being said, do me a huge favor. Tell me what you thought about this information. Go ahead and comment below. Okay, tell me if you got value from these. And also, just if you can, in the comments area, tell me which one you feel is your weakness. All right, because when you write it down, and for example, just doing that little micro transaction, there's going to be some of you that go, I'm not going to comment on that guy's video. That's fine. Most likely you're not going to do any of these things, and you're probably not going to get to 7-figure business. All right, so if you're man enough or woman enough to say, hey, here's my weakness, and comment below, because you're putting it out there, and I guarantee you that simple action, that simple transaction is going to spark something in you that's going to allow you to basically work towards those goals. So go ahead and comment below and let me know which one of these are your weaknesses, and I'll reach back out to you, and we'll see what we can do to help you actually get there a lot faster. All right, so again, if you want to get more value, you want to see what I'm doing, go ahead and click on the link in the description of this video, comment below, and until next time, I'll see you on the internet. Take care.